Is National Child Abuse Prevention Month, a difficult but important issue to talk about. As KLTV7's Lauren Tier reports, nonprofits across East Texas stress the importance of education and awareness this month, but also year-round.
It's not that abuse is increasing, it's that more of it's coming to light. More kids are being educated, more adults are being equipped to report or to prevent abuse.
The Children's Advocacy Center of Smith County served over 1,000 kids with their services in 2023. Communications manager Emily Taylor says their mission starts with education.
We educate both children and adults. We go into our public school districts here in Smith County and educate kids on body safety, and we also educate adults on recognizing and reporting abuse and prevention.
For the court-appointed Special Advocates for Kids of East Texas, or CASA, the mission is to be a voice in court for children who have suffered from abuse or neglect. They serve hundreds of kids across Smith, Wood, and Van Zant counties.
They have an attorney that represents their wishes in court. They're part of the court team, but we as CASA, or the guardian ad litem, are there also to represent what's best for them.
CASA volunteers help children who have been removed from abusive or dangerous environments and make sure they're safe in their temporary placement.
It should never hurt to be a child, and these kids that we're protecting now, they're going to grow up and eventually be the leaders of our community, and they're going to take care of us one day, and so we want to set them up for the best success for the future.
Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
CASA has its annual Caught Doing Good for Kids online fundraiser tomorrow. The Children's Advocacy Center is hosting a youth charity art show and auction on East Texas Giving Day. That is Tuesday, April the 30th.